Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world away. We're now doing issue 9, which is stages 21, 22, 23 and 24 of IXO Collections build the Peugeot 205 1.9 GTI. Now in this issue we're going to be working on the radiator, and we're also going to be starting to put the floor pan. See, I said it right that time, floor pan in. Let me just show you some of the instructions. So as you can see, this is all the things that we're starting off with the radiator. We're going to be putting the radiator pipes in. We're going to be assembling the radiator and the cooling fans and assembling them to the main body of the vehicle. Now if you remember from last time, this is what the vehicle is looking like. Absolutely lovely at the moment. Loads of pipes and stuff on there, and it's quite heavy as well. Put that back over here. Then we're going to be attaching the floor pan in those two stages there, and then we've got some bodywork to put in, and then finally, as you can see here, we've got some more hoses to put in as well as the, that looks like the expansion tank for the cooling system, and that's all there is to do in this stage. Now if you haven't seen the playlist for these, then what I've done is I put a link up here all the way from pack 1 or issue 1, and you'll be able to see this build up. This is such a detailed build, and the amount of metal that's been on this build is pretty much why it's so heavy at the moment. But if you do want to get this for yourself, I'll put the link down here to ixocollections.com. You'll be able to get this all the way from issue 1. But I love this build so much, can't wait to get cracking on it, and that's what we're going to do now. Let's get cracking. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to take part of the radiator hose, which looks just like this. Now this is actually going to go into the hole. Probably best to look at the pictures. This is going to be almost impossible to show you, but we've got two holes just on the side here. This is going to go in the hole and rotated round, so it's going to come out of the front of the vehicle here. Now it actually goes into the hole that is nearest to the bodywork there. So what we're going to do, doesn't say to glue this, but I've got to sort of rotate it in and then spin it round as it goes in, which should be quite fun. And then spins round just like that. What I'm going to do is just plug it into that hole. Pretty impossible to show you, but as you can see, so it's in the hole that side, and then if I turn it round, you can see the other side of that is just coming out there. Now they don't ask us to glue that. I think I might put a little bit of glue just to keep that in place. Now while we've got it this way round, if you've noticed at the bottom here, we've got two oil hoses. We're going to need them for a stage that's coming up now, because we're going to start to assemble the radiator. So I'm going to put that to one side, and we'll bring over the parts for the radiator. So what we've got is the grill section here, and we've got the back section looking just like that. Quite simply, we're just going to be piecing these two together. So what we're doing, we've got it looking just like this, and all we're going to do is put this over the top so that these lugs here, the 6 lugs here, are going to line up with the 6 lugs that we see here. If you notice, the one at the top here is slightly offset compared to the rest of them, and the same is just true on that. So when we put that in, it's going to fit just like that. We're going to fit that with DP screws. So I've got them here. That's one. Got 6 of these to put in, and straight away on issue 9, I can tell that the detail is going to be pretty unsurpassed and amazing on this, because just looking at all the parts we've got for the radiator and the grills and the fans, I mean, I didn't show you the parts at the start, but you'll see what I mean when we actually piece this together in stage 21, which is what we're doing at the moment. We've got 2 more screws to put in, one this side, and finally just one on this side over here. Excellent, that looks just like that. What we need to do is need to take this radiator hose here, and that's just going to go into the hole that we can see at the top there. Just like that. It can revolve round like that. It doesn't ask us to glue this in at the moment. Probably for the best, because we're going to attach this now to the vehicle. But knowing where that goes, what we're going to do now is we're going to be putting the other end of this hose into the vehicle. And if you see just here, we've got this large section just here with the hole in it. That's where it's going to go. So I'll put that in. It is shaped, so it'll only let us put it in one way. Just like that. And as you can see, that hose is now in place. Keep these oil hoses at the side here over the top of this section here, but just put them off to one side just for a minute so they don't get in the way. And what we're going to be doing is going to be attaching the lower hose that we saw down here into that hole there, and the upper hose we just put in to that hole there, while at the same time putting these edges here and here just over the brackets here and here. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, I reckon, but let's see if we can get this in. That's gone in pretty perfect, actually. I don't know if you can see that from the back and obviously from the top camera there. And then we just need to hold the radiator into place with 2 screws just down the top there, and they are BM screws. Remember, the M means we're going into metal, so I will put a little tiny bit of oil just on the screw just to help them go into the bodywork there. So that's the first screw. Not tighten it up completely, just enough to hold this all into place. I put the second screw in just the other side here, and then tighten it up as hard as I can get it in. And there we go, that's the radiator attached to the vehicle. We can put that to one side just while we work on the cooling fans now. And for that we need the supports or the mounts that go like that. We need one of the cooling fans, which look just like this. It's got an indent on one side, a flat side on the other side. It's the flat side that we want to face down over that spindle there. So that's going to go in just like that. We're going to secure that in with an EP screw. Now the EP screws, just load one up, do have a little flange on them, as you can see. That's just going to go down the middle. That's also going to enable, once tightened, the fan to still be able to turn, as you can see there. On the other side of this, you see we've got 3 holes here. We're going to be putting the cover on, and this has got 3 lugs just on that side there. So we'll put this one in. We want to make sure, as you see, you've got an indent on this fan, like a Y shaped at the top. Make sure that that faces up. So when we put it in, it's going to look just like this. The lugs will keep it in itself, as you can see. We don't have to put any glue in there at all. And that's what the cooling fan looks like. Put that to one side, because we're going to need this tiny piece here, which is now the oil radiator. Now that is going to be attached to the 2 holes that you can see just on the front of the main radiator there. And when we attach it, we want to make sure that the actual points here are facing upwards. So this, probably best on one of the side cameras, is just going to go, that's going to go on just like that. Again, it's just a push to fit, so we haven't got to worry about any glue on that. But we do want to put these oil hoses that we put to one side into the tops of those now. So they'll come around the side of the radiator and they'll just go into the tops. I'll use my tweezers just to help me out doing that. That's the first one. Just like that. And here's the second one. And there we go. The oil hoses are in, looking just like that. You do want to make sure that they fit in the indent of the radiator that you can just see off the side there. All we need to do is fit the cooling fan so the curved sections are facing down just to the front of the radiator, just like this. Making sure that the oil cooler there fits in between the blank side of the fan, and this is just pushed in with lugs on each side. So I'll push this in. Once that's in, we're actually going to hold it in with AP screws just onto the corners there. That's one. Put one down the bottom here. I'm not making it too tight at the moment. I just need it tight enough just to keep this into place, and I'll tighten them all up. It's a little bit back heavy at the moment. When the floor plan's in, I keep saying it again, floor pan's in, it'll balance it up. But as you see, it's tending to wanting to go in that direction at the moment. There's the fourth one. And then we'll just tighten these all up. And when that's in, it should look just like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 22, as you can see, we've got this absolutely ginormous floor pan. So I'll get this open and show you what this looks like. And there you go. Now, the most obvious thing to mention is the colour. Obviously painted metal, and it's black, and it's absolutely immaculate. There's no flaws on there apart from when I put my fingerprints on there. But that is amazing. It's really heavy as well. But we're going to be attaching this to the main engine and front chassis of the vehicle. So what we're going to do is bring over the vehicle here. Now, if you remember, we put this cross brace into this position here. We actually need to take this out now. So let's just remove that. Now, this is where I'm actually running into a problem. This was fitted before I even had a chance to fit it, and I need to remove these screws, which I can't do at the moment. And I really don't, my Peugeot screwdriver is not touching them. And I don't want to round these screws. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to use my socket screw set, see if I can get it out with that. You see, sometimes it helps to have the right screw for the job. So that's that one out. I'm just using this. I don't even know what size this is. Let me have a look on here. Doesn't tell me, but this bit seems to be fine in getting them out. I'm just doing it slow just to make sure there we go. And then I can use my main Peugeot screwdriver just to get out the rest of the way. Now, I didn't put this screw in. This actually came in, and as you can see, it seems to be sort of welded there in the paint and everything as well. But make sure you use the right screw for the job, or screwdriver. Otherwise, there's a danger of rounding the heads, which you don't want to do. So what we're going to do is take the floor pan. As you can see, we've got 2 holes here and here. They're going to match the 2 holes here and here. So we're going to be putting this over the top, just like that. It's going to weigh the vehicle down now. And I think the first thing we'll do is we'll reinforce this by putting some screws into these 4 holes here. So those screws are BM screws. Now you want to make sure all your other wires are going underneath this floor pan. At the moment, we don't need any wires going on top here. Got some BM screws here. I've put them in a little bit of oil. And now I'll start putting these in. That's 1. 2. 3. And 4. And then I'm going to make sure these are really tight. All we want to do is make sure that the leads that are coming from the brakes will go into the engine bay. So one this side here, one the other side over here, so that the only lead that we've got into the vehicle is this long lead that's going to go down the center there like that. Now we've got 2 more screws to put in on this floor pan, just at this side at the back here. And once again, these are BM screws. So I'll put 1 in here and 1 just at the other side. So all in all, we've put 6 screws in there to hold that floor pan down. Excellent. Now we've got this tiny piece here, which is a pinion shaft support. Now if you look here, this is the pinion of the steering wheel. It's just going to go into this section to support that area there, to keep that upright. And we're going to be putting a screw in there. Now the screw we're going to be putting down there is an AM screw. So I'll get one of them open. And you're really going to need to push that hard to get that screw hole to line up. But I think I'm there now. So I'll screw that down. Just like that. And what that does, it still enables the wheels to turn, as you can see there. But what it does is keeps this more upright. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 23, what we want to do is turn the vehicle upside down. And what we're going to be doing is trailing the fuel line through some fuel and brake line clamps. Now they look just like that. And quite simply, they're just going to be pushed into these sections that we can just see here. Now, just seeing if they're going to need any glue. They go in. No, once you push them in, they're quite sturdy. Put a second one here and push down, And then the third one is just going to go right at the back, just over here. Push that down as well. And then quite simply, this fuel line here, we're just going to feed that through all of these clamps. 1, 2, and then out the back here, 3. So as you see, those clamps are keeping that nice and tidy now. So now we've got some brake clamps looking like that. They're going to be going into these 2 holes that we can see here and here. They're going to go this way round, just like that. So we get these screwed in. These are screwed in with AM screws. Put these in a little bit of oil. What they do is they actually hide these other sort of like, they look like screw holes here on the other side, but they are going to hide that. So put this in. And here's the first one. And then make that nice and tight. Do the same just on the other side there. Making sure the clamps are perfectly straight. And there we go. That's the 2 brake clamps in place. Now we've got some pieces of bodywork here looking just like that, but we don't use that in this stage. So we can put that to one side because that stage is now complete. Now in stage 24, we're going to be starting with the coolant expansion bottle looking just like this. The first thing we've got to do is just piece this together. Just like this. There you go. And we're going to hold that with 1 screw. Quite simply, that's an AP screw. And that will keep this full thing together, just like that. So make sure that's nice and tight. We're then going to take the piece of bodywork that we had from the last stage. I haven't actually got it out here yet, so I'll get it out and show you what this looks like. Again, immaculate paintwork. Check that out. All metal, very heavy. And quite simply, as you can see, the base here is a sort of looks like a phone SIM card shape. It's actually going to match that shape that we see there. It's going to go onto the outside of this. So it's going to go into this section here and be secured from the other side here, just again with an AP screw. So I've got one here, put that through. That's going to hold this into place. And there we go. That's the expansion bottle in. We need the coolant sensor, which looks just like that. It's a very tiny black detail here, little plastic detail. And on one side, you do have a semicircular sort of lug. Now that's going to go into the tiniest hole that you can see right in the center of the expansion tank there. So I'll put this in. And that looks just like that. And then we need to take the shortest pipe, which looks like that. And that's just going to go onto the nipple on the end of that sensor there. So I'll push that on with my hands. All the way. There we go, looking like that. We're then going to want to take the medium pipe here and plug that just into the nipple on the main cylinder cap there. So once again, push that in just like that. And then that's going to fit with the semicircular lug there just into the hole that we can see on this side. So I push that in. So now we've got 2 pipes coming off that expansion tank. So we're just going to attach these pipes now to the bodywork here. So the pipe that's coming from the sensor is going to go onto the bottom nipple that we can just see there. Keep using the word nipple because I'm guessing that's what it is. So that's just going to go in like that. And then we need the longer, thicker lead. We've got 2 leads left. We've got a thin one and a thick one. It's the thick one that we need. It's just going to go onto the nipple just above it like this here. All the way like that. We can put that to one side because we need to bring over the engine again now. Like that. And we've got another hose to put on the back. Now if I just show you this side of the engine, probably best to look at the pictures as well, you'll see that I have now got a vacant hole just in there. That's where this hose is going to go. Now I've pushed that in, so now that looks just like that. Now I was going to say that's the end of this stage, but there's one more lead that we've got, this long thin one here. That's just going to go into the nipple that we can see on top of the expansion tank there. We've got like 4 leads, or 3 leads coming from the expansion tank, but just on this section here there's 4 leads. So I'll get that all the way in like that. That's eventually going to go over the side just like that, but we don't actually do anything with this one in this stage. But with what we've completed there and the bodywork piece with the expansion tank on, that's all there is to do in that stage. In fact, that's all there is to do in that pack. You know what, it's really fiddly, but it is really rewarding when you see what it looks like. I think the hardest thing I had there was actually taking those screws out of the support that we had on the chassis there. I didn't put that in, so obviously that was in from manufacturer. Those screws were in quite a lot, so make sure you don't round the heads. If you feel that's going on, a couple of techniques, if you try the technique I have, which is use another bit. Otherwise, I've heard an elastic band works. Get an elastic band, put your screwdriver in that, and then try and turn it. Whatever you do, don't round those heads or you're going to have a bad time. I don't actually think we use this, so you don't want to go drilling it out or anything like that either, but I'm glad we managed to get that out. I was a bit worried for a second there, but looks really rewarding. If you want to get this for yourself, once again, put the link down here for ixocollections.com. You'll be able to get this, no problems at all. I really do hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.